Death crunch.
by Eric.
Death crunch.
What is up, you guys? It is Charlotte Sophia here. We are going to be doing some core work today, so we're going to go over a few exercises. Eric will give us some great explanations as well. Do you want to give us a little spiel of who you are?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, you've seen him before here. He's back again. Best coach in the world.
Oh.
All of his stuff will be listed in the bio, so if you want to see more, make sure you like and subscribe and comment on this video for more tips and tricks that you would like to see. All right, let's get to it.
Guys, we got an abdominal crunch here. Now, obviously, we're kind of different size humans, so this has to fit all of us. They gave us a back pad that you're gonna have to try and find here. They gave us hook fit spot for our feet, and then they gave you this thing, and almost everybody I see pulls down really hard on this. The funny part is they're thinking crunching is this way, when really crunching is that way. So they gave you these pads to push your shoulders up and think almost like you're gonna throw a ball over the top. We wanna use our shoulders to actually feel like we're coming off, and our target is somewhere out in front of us, not downwards, okay? So we're gonna have to flex backwards to flex over that. We're gonna give that a shot.
Would you say like equal foot pressure to up top?
Sure, and then we'll change it. Now, so most people are gonna think about pulling down. What if I got in the way here though? Oh, you'd have to go this way, right there. So they gave you these butts on this, so I want you to think about, let your shoulders come up and think over. There we go. Now, if that happens, you're gonna think about you going backwards, right? As opposed to worrying about this. We're gonna push you backwards. This is gonna look familiar to some of the other stuff we've done. Okay, think about flexing you backwards. Go. Backwards, backwards, backwards. Yep, go. And again, now through, go, forward, 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 forward. Your middle goes backwards. There you go. If this was a punch, I would just do this and you would go backwards, yes? There, you'd fold around my hands. There you go. Now, because she's so good at this, we're gonna change this a little bit. Take your legs out. Take your legs out. There you go. Look, you can still do it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Right? She can still flex by going backwards. See, this moves without you worry about hooking on there. There you go. Last one. Now, because she's so good, maybe I could straighten her legs. Oh, I could straighten her legs and make her do it. Go. Oh my gosh. Now remember, the target's out here. Miss Pac-Man. There you go. Last one. And relax. That takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
That was not fun. That being said, you need to flex your spine to contract your abs. I do not know how many times I repeat this to my Pilates friends. You need to do more than worry about your spinal imprint on the mat. You got to work this.
Yeah, spinal muscle imprint is different than tipping your pelvis. Flexed backwards, your arms are just posts, they do nothing. Mm-hmm. You could also hold on up here if you wanted.
Good.
Right? Now, nothing to do, this is flex backwards. You won't have anywhere close to the range that you have because it's gonna feel, how much tension can you have? And this is all pulling down, right? Into your waistband. Without your chin. There, okay? Think you slide, there you go. Now the legs are pushing you backwards. No, you're good. If I gotta move this up. You keep anticipating you being taller, but okay. You're pushing you into this back pad, and then start to curl over it. Without your head, my gosh. Now at some point, that angle down doesn't equate to this, so it's gonna feel like your shoulder blades can come more, they can come out more, they can come out more. No, yeah, they can there. There you go. Oh, that's different. There, so the more your shoulders disengage from your trunk, the more you can follow, they go in different direction, okay? Your shoulders go one way, your abs go the other. That's it, good. And push yourself backwards to go forward. There you go. So now you're doing imprint, yes? Because you actually have to muscularly push backwards, right? And not just get behind this, so let your shoulders come more, not your head. More. There you go. There. There. Nice. See how it's not possible to come farther than that? Nice job. Now relax. Now, what if you did this with one arm?
Okay.
Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay. So what if we did this with one arm? And what if I said, okay, now if I had one arm doing this, it would want to, either I want to rotate or it wants to rotate me.
Yeah.
So if I
so
said,
counter
okay,
rotation.
I'm just going to stay still because
that,
I want it to not rotate me. And now my job is to maintain, like, oh, that's a totally separate thing. That's not attached to me.
Yeah.
So this is a separate item for me to flex into that position. Okay. And then how far back can I go and keep my shoulder that way while I go this way versus they become one unit.
Same principle as the
yeah, this would be like a Palov or one of those things, right?
Press, yeah.
But it's like now, well, now we've got a different amount of like torque on the trunk as opposed to, now you'll still feel both sides, but one side will be working quite a bit harder. Okay, try that. Good, now. It stays, it stays, it stays. It can float more. Now you go back without it. There you go, there you go, good. Oh, that's different, there you go. And try to get your head out of it as best you can.
I don't know why I keep putting my fucking head in it. God damn it. Oh, wait.
Oh, that changed some things. That a girl. Now you can choose to rotate if you want. That's cool. It would almost be the other way. You'd rotate that way, and then you could rotate through it. Go. Oh my gosh, that's a whole different thing. Oh my gosh. Who would have thought that was heavy? Now dig in that left leg. Hard on that left leg now, you got it. There we go. Nice. Awesome. Switch sides. Oh. That's what this is for, I guess. We'll just hold this out of there. I'll just hold that back. There you go. Oh my gosh. See, it's really a small range. Yep. That's it. Okay, I disengage that shoulder from my trunk. Shoulder gonna go through it like a post. There we go, good. You won't have a lot of range back, but you have got a little more range forward. Through it, through it, through it. Got it. Think about where that cinches into your waist, good. Right, forget the post and think about all these right here, go. They go this way, this way, this way. Oh my gosh, that's it. All right, almost everybody has an ab bench in your gym, okay, one or the other. Atlantis makes this one and it starts pretty steep, okay? Charlotte's loaded it up even higher. She likes being a bat, hanging upside down. Okay, really important part here, guys. She's smaller, so it's hard not to have her feet down here, but we're gonna try and think of this like a leg extension. So I want you to think about pushing these through this pad, if best you can, to not hook too hard. Okay, it's gonna feel like you stay on leg extension. That's gonna stabilize your pelvis, okay? And from here, her job is to think about those shoulders coming as high as she can go. So she is pushing her shoulders up off her body with these big serratus muscles. And then she can feel these obliques work pretty hard. Okay, wellness has a defined bunch of abs in it. And so it's not really about flexing here so much as curling. Okay, I'll say it's more like an ab curl as opposed to worrying about flexing forward. It's about how tall she can get and how short she can get versus how does she come up and down the bench. So there's her extension position, there's her flexion position, okay? And she is not relaxing. This is getting very heavy right here. There you go. I'm gonna do one hard one here, go. Back you go. Taller, taller. Now, flex hard here. Flex back. No, flex. Come on, you got it. There, 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 there. Atta girl, good.
I'm just gonna do a visual of what to not do.
Yeah, this is pretty simple.
Because I pulled with all my hip flexor, right? You guys saw, I was literally just dying like 2 seconds ago. I could do this again. It's all in my foot. This is super easy. It's still challenging, but this is not what I was just doing. at all. You can see I'm having a full conversation with you guys. No problem. This.
Flexing backwards here. Oh, there we go. Good. There we go. Now remember, we're not going over here. We're taking this to the belly button. So this goes to the belly button, that's it. There we go. Okay. Show me 5 like that and then switch. Good. Otherwise you're directing, remember it's ab tissue, not shoulder. There we go. Good. Yep, as high as you can go. Up over the top. There, really good. Switch sides. Okay, try not to let your head do it, my dear. My God. I just grabbed me by the skull. I could totally do this. Tall. Up. Yeah, there. That's it. Except for the end. That's it. Just give up the end. That's it. Yep. Up. No, up as high as you can. Up as high as you can to flex over. There, biggest arc. That's it. No, not more than that, cheater. Taking a break up there. Up. There you go, and relax.
Oh, it's the hardest exercise.
Mm-hmm. Death
Death
crunch.
by Eric.
Death crunch. The death crunch.
Oh. So basically, guys, we're gonna do some vacuums. So essentially, how I like to set these up, I'll do a full breath in, a full exhale, a full breath in, a full exhale. So really making sure all my oxygen is out of my stomach as well as my chest, and then take my vacuum. Ideally, you wanna hold for like 5 seconds minimum. Eventually, this could get longer as you get more used to the exercise, holding your breath, etc. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. We're gonna do 2 different variations today. So in tabletop as well as probably standing. That's a really easy way to start doing vacuums. A little bit more technical as you progress.
A lot of guys, if we talked about the connection, almost funny enough, if you sneak back to the Pilates world, most people would talk about imprint, right? An imprint is basically, for most people, just tipping their pelvis. But what we're actually going to do is muscularly imprint, which means we're actually learning, once she starts to get all this air out, we have to use obliques to actually flex the trunk, okay? Most people might think just rectus out front, but we're actually starting to breathe and volumize out to get this to squeeze as much as possible. When she does, she's trying to contract up and back. Now, when she has to do this, she has to close the sides to flex backwards, and then she's gonna pull, right, her transverse abdominis closer and closer, and then almost kind of yank her diaphragm up under into her posture, right? So she's gonna pull her diaphragm up and into her rib cage. We're gonna hold this for 5 seconds. It's gonna feel like a very tight corset belly button feeling for most of you guys. Okay, and you see as she breathes out and lets go, everything starts to fall back to her normal arch, right? Now in this tabletop, she's got like 4 columns to sort of support the bridge here. And now again, as we start to control all this stuff around the shoulders, she starts to feel, some people might get into this with a little cat-cow if you're thinking about yoga, right? If you're from a Pilates background, you might be thinking about imprint as driving. And as she breathes out, she's learning to contract the sides, getting herself more and more narrow. And then from that super narrow waist, she's gonna think about pulling her diaphragm up underneath without losing all the other stuff. All right, this is probably the most basic position it's taught from. Laying on your back is actually a lot harder to do this from, okay, because you don't have this sort of hanging part of the pelvis.
Yeah, a lot of breath work. One thing that I took from my stage photos in my first season was trunk control. So just because I do have a tight waist, I have abs, doesn't mean that I necessarily can always present a tight waist, right? If I'm breathing, I'm focusing on other things. Something that I struggle with, if you've seen some of our videos before, is my ribs always flare. So I'm always standing like this. I can keep my waist tight, but this is still not really tight. So I'm really, really, really actively trying, especially in my off season, so that when I'm in my next prep and diced again, I'm able to still control my trunk, right? I want to be able to keep this in. So doing vacuums is a really good way to do that. And it's really good to get a nice tight waist.
So here we are in a semi-quadruped, right? So she's come from all fours up to this position, right? And again, that same idea of expanding and using breathing to pull all this in, right? She's still stable here, okay? She's out of this 90 degree now to about a what, 30 degrees? And that same idea of breathing out, maxing this out, and then starting to close her rib cage, right? From these obliques that run from as high as here to here. She can close those obliques, and then she can start to vacuum up underneath that, okay? So this narrowing is what most of us might feel like a corset. Okay? Any of the corset design we see with modern bodybuilding is really just imitating transverse abdominis and obliques. They wrap from the back to the front and from the top down, okay, almost down into your waistband. So we think about wrapping around from the sides. Once she gets her breathing in control, she's wrapping around from the sides, tightening around, not flattening. And as she flexes from the sides, she gets narrower, and then she actually vacuums. And then breathe. Awesome job.
So another thing too, you always want to make sure that you do another full breath cycle after you've done your vacuum, especially if you're in a different position, right? Because it's not to say that I could get injured, but let's say I just was in my vacuum and then I went up like this. You just want to make sure, again, how did you explain that? That was nice. For like getting your breathing in order, now my body's kind of the way it should be before I take my vacuum. You kind of want to get yourself back to that, now my body's where I should be before I get back out of that position. Okay?
Yeah, so you
tight,
can see
tight,
here.
tight, tight, tight.
Well, you can see here, right? See how these lines come out now?
Yeah.
Because she can actually pull this all in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we have space.
Yeah,
Right.
Crazy. I had the Pilates 11s. Asked me the last Pilates class I've been to. All right, guys, that is it for the video. Thank you so, so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and we will see you very, very soon. Thank you.